Make sure.
Yep, it's doing it again, I think.
Wait, is that coming off your MacBook or is that coming off? So it's MacBook audio. It's oh, it's garbled all to hell.
What's up?
Do you need me to run sound tonight?
Probably, yeah.
Where did the iPad? The iPad's disappeared. We'll find it.
You're still on camera.
The garbling isn't near as bad as the actual room. I'm impressed.
Yeah, no.
Hey!
Hello everyone, welcome to Nav Night. This is Penn State Navigators. I did hit the pause button, I apologize. As an organization, we seek to know Christ, to make Him known, and help others do the same. We do this through both our large group meetings, our small groups. We pray together, we share meals, study the Bible, pursue God, serve our community, and have a whole lot of fun together.
Okay, the ways we do this are through 10-10 teams. So they're like the heart of our organization. We call them 10-10 based off the verse John 10:10 in the Bible, which says, "The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come so that they may have life and have it abundantly." So we're just living abundant life together by sharing meals and hanging out. So we would love for you guys to get plugged in there if you haven't yet. This semester this semester our 10-10 teams are looking a little differently. We are going through the Alpha course, which is a great discussion, prompter. So Cam is going to come up and share a little bit more about Alpha. Watch the video first.
He is arguably the most famous person in history. Over 2 million people claim to follow him. That's 1/3 of the world's population. He's represented in art and literature more than any other figure. Time magazine called him the most influential person who has ever lived. But who is Jesus?
Who is Jesus?
I believe he's he's the Son of God.
I don't believe Jesus never really existed.
Son of God.
If I have to answer that question, I would say God.
I played the way for Chelsea.
If you read the Bible, I don't think I can believe in all of that.
Everything. You can be anything, but he's everything. Who is Jesus? To be honest with you, I don't know. I'm not super religious or anything, so I mean, I guess it's a savior or something.
Personally, I think that Jesus is probably a really cool dude who lived a long time ago and gave great advice to people, and it snowballed from there.
Hey guys, so this is what we're doing in our 10-10 teams, the Alpha course. Yeah, this is perfect if you are not a Christian. This is perfect if you're on the fence of whether or not you are going to continue the Christian faith that you grew up in. This is perfect if you are a believer who wants to grow in their faith in college. Yeah, this is what we're doing for this semester. It's stimulating, awesome discussions. Just like 2 hours ago, I was with a group of guys under the gazebo on the hub lawn. Yeah, watched the video together and just had discussion afterwards. And these guys are just like sharing openly, vulnerably, just based off the video. And yes, it's just a great discussion simulator. So please, this is like my plea to you. Please join one of these 10-10 teams, one of our small groups. Get connected. We're eating meals together and then watching these videos and then just talking openly and vulnerably. And that's how we form authentic community. That's how we get to know other people. So this is like my plea to you. If you're not connected, if you have not been reached out to by a 10-10 team leader, please do so. There will be some way to get connected to a 10-10 team tonight and join one of these groups. Yeah, that's all I got. Please do it.
Okay, so I'm sure many of you guys have heard about this survey that's been going on. So if you're new to NAVs, you can enter that to get connected, but also just to hear more about the NAV leaders and have a chance to win a $200 Amazon gift card. So the winner is actually going to be announced right after Nav Night tonight, so you have a little bit longer to enter. But then the survey is going to stay open, and if you're new to NAVs, you can still fill it out. And there's going to be another giveaway for people who continue filling it out, and it's going to be $100 to Chipotle. So definitely keep, sharing the survey. And now we have, where are they? Bryce and Kyle, Professor!
Hey guys. Can you hear me?
Okay, we're just gonna go. We're yelling again. We're yelling. We're gonna play games. Okay. So, what are we doing now?
So the game is, you want to get in groups of 2 or 3, and what you want to do is try to find something between you guys that is uncommon, but common between you. So we can demonstrate for you guys to help you out. Something you don't want to do. So I wouldn't be like, hey, I like burgers.
I like burger food.
Wow, so don't do that, okay? What you want to do is something like,
Hey, I can't smell.
I can't smell too.
Whoa! Yeah, that makes sense? Cool, so just pair up in 2s or 3s. Make sure no one's like left out because you're all spaced out. Yeah, have fun.
This front row is probably not going anywhere.
Yeah. Can you smell?
Yes. Oh. I can't smell.
Oh. Big country music fans right here. Uncommon, but common between the two of us.
You should go out to Bryce and be like, we both eat half a dozen eggs every morning. Go find Bryce and back. Be like, we both eat half a dozen eggs in the morning.
Where is he?
All the way.
So they decided to ditch the other mic idea.
I mean, this,
like that guy.
This sounds good, so.
Yeah.
This didn't work.
Yeah. What's your favorite coat brand? Your favorite brand of coats for coats?
I don't really wear coats.
Carhartt?
I mean, probably, but I don't really wear coats. I just wear like sweatshirts.
Huh. Hello?
Hello?
Oh.
Oh, nice. Hey, if we could bring it back together, that'd be great. Would anyone like to share the thing that they had in common with the 2 or 3 people near them? I'll run the mic over to you if you want to share it. Anyone want to share? Anyone want to share? Yeah.
So we all didn't like heights. These two are afraid of heights, and I hate free falling, so we counted that.
Incredible. right, one more. Anyone else want to share? Back down there.
Oh, I didn't want to touch it. None of us have ever had peachy maternal ice cream.
Wow, that's impressive. All right, unless there's someone else dying to share, I think that's it. You all good? Cool, I don't know who's next. Tori.
Where's Harrison? Okay, now Kendall's coming up.
Hi Kendall, I won't ask you your name because everyone already heard. This is Kendall. Tell us your year and your major.
I am a sophomore this year, and my major is quantitative psychology.
And questions here. How did you originally get connected with Navigators?
I actually got connected through Sarah Swartz. I met her on a mission trip before my freshman year, and we both found out that we're going to Penn State in the fall. I mean, she was a year older, but I was looking for a Christian ministries to get involved in, and there's so many, and then she was just like, you must join Navs, and I was like, I guess I don't have a choice.
Tell me a little bit about what your experience was freshman year being involved with Navs.
It was so good. I actually struggled the first couple weeks, just like feeling like I was in the right place. And then on fall retreat, all that anxiety just left as we did our extra, and I just felt like God was like telling me I'm exactly where I need to be. And then over spring break, I actually cried because we had to leave to go home early, just because I never felt such like a tight-knit community in my life. I was homeschooled all through high school and middle school, so it was kind of like I was on my own for a while, and then just being surrounded by so many God-loving and just caring people just was so cool for me.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And what would you say then this year, if you guys don't know, Kendall has decided to be a 10-10 team leader. And so what, other than what you just described, what are some other things that impacted your decision to sign up for that?
Yeah, I was actually on the fence about it. Originally, I was just thinking to be a team champion. And then I thought about the reason why I wanted to do that, and it was just because I was scared to be a leader and not feeling qualified. And then I thought about David and how he was young and God used him. And then also how Moses was never really eloquent in his speech, and I feel like that sometimes. And so just like how God used those people to bring people to him. So yeah, just those specific instances in the Bible really convinced me to give it a shot. So, yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you for sharing that. Can we get a round of applause for Kendall?
Okay, and our Bible reading plan. So you guys don't know, we are planning on reading through the New Testament this semester together. So we're about a weekend, because we're like a week into the semester. And it's gonna be about 2 chapters every day. So we're like week 13 maybe by now. And so it's never too late to just join us in doing that. You don't need to feel like you need to catch up. Just hop in if you'd like. I think we have some paper copies in the back. But yeah, we really encourage you guys to sign up for that and talk with your friends about it.
So right now I have to plug social media because it's one of the best ways you can get connected with Navigators. And so there's a QR code up there to follow us on Instagram, but you can always just search Penn State Navigators, Penn State Navs. And additionally, another great way to get connected with us is through our group meetings that we have split up over the different classes. And so, yeah, it's just a great way that you can really connect on an individual level. And the phone number that's up there, which you can read, is Kelly, right here in the front row's phone number. And if you text her your name and the phone number you have, she will add you to, or in your year, sorry, what year you are, she'll add you to the group meet that you need to be in. So one last thing, our weekly emails go out, and so if you'd be interested in getting those as well, you can either DM on Instagram or also reach out to Kelly and she can help you with that too.
Yeah, okay. I have the honor of introducing our guest speaker tonight. We all know and love her, but some fun facts. She is incredible at driving cross country from years of living in California. She is an incredible baker, pretty much anything, and tastes really good. And fun fact about Robin is that if you hit the right part of her elbow, she might faint. So, here's Robin!
So I think you should look out to protect me rather than exploit that fact. Thank you, Tori. My name's Robin. I'm so excited to be here with you all. I'm on staff with Navigators here at Penn State. This is my second year, and I just love being part of this community. But I was a student here before I came on staff many years ago, and so I've got a picture here of me and some of my college friends. These are some girls that I met my first week at Penn State at a Nav Night. And so I think about them, and I was just texting with them this week. And so it's been many years, but we still have stayed in touch. We've shared joys and sorrows, highs and lows, participated in weddings, and gotten to be there for new babies arriving, and it's so exciting. And so last week, we heard from Amy Ann about the value of community. And then Kendall just got to share about how that was such a sweet part of her year. We would love to help you be connected and get to know people who can walk with you in this season, but really for the rest of your lives. Will help you know Jesus, will speak life into you, where you can feel known and loved for exactly who you are. So that's our hope for this community. So we're so glad you're here, and we want to help get you connected in any way that we can. So last week, Brad shared with us about, we began talking about the brokenness of our world, right? We're all so aware of that right now. There is so much heaviness. There is the global pandemic. There is racial injustice. There is high tensions with political differences, and it just feels so overwhelming. And so for the last 6 months, we've all been exposed to brokenness that has always existed, but we're seeing it more clearly now. And so it's been a heavy time. But I don't know about for you, maybe you didn't watch this, but back in the spring, there was one little glimmer of joy. Came out weekly for about 7-8 weeks. Maybe you saw it. Some good news. John Krasinski, anyone? Yeah. It was a highlight every week for me. Our roommate, sometimes we'd watch it at my house, and I teared up every single time. Every time I'd watch this little 15-minute clip, I'd find myself getting all teary, because his whole goal was, we're only hearing bad news, let's have a little glimmer of good news. And so he would highlight stories of Hamilton cast surprising a little girl who just missed getting to go see it. Justin, he's touched over there. He sent nurses in Boston to Fenway Park so they got to run the bases, and I got all teary. But my favorite parts, the parts that I really would get a little bit emotional about, was when patients who had COVID-19 were being released from the hospital. You could see the joy of the medical staff's faces, they were so pumped. You are healthy, you are healed. You could see their families being so excited, they got to see them and interact with them face to face again. And so everyone was cheering and clapping, bells were ringing, signs were waving, and it was so exciting. And I would tear up every time. And I couldn't help but think about what those patients had just endured. They had a disease that wasn't very well understood, or painful. Because of it, they had to be separated from their family, from people who they felt safe with and comfortable with. They didn't know if it was going to lead to their death or if there's hope for life. They really were in a place of despair. And then, even the medical professionals who were near them weren't willing to really touch them. They were highly contagious. And so anyone who was near them had to be covered fully in a mask and kind of looked like they were about to go into the space station. It wasn't a face-to-face human interaction. So suddenly, not only are they in pain and scared and suffering, but they're alone and they're isolated and they don't get to be around anyone else. And I just felt, oh my goodness, how scary that would be, and how hard that would be to not know how long I was going to last. And so, of course, they would be incredible, excited, rejoicing that they're healed, that they get to go be with people again. And so, again, I would cry. Well, I'm going through the book of Mark right now, and Mark is a story about the life of Jesus, and it tells about different things that he did. And in Mark 1, there's a story that as I was reading it, I was immediately had a flashback to that moment, to those moments of patients who were sick being healed. And so before I read you the story, I want to show you a clip. Some of you might have heard of this film or kind of series of shows called The Chosen, and it's looking at the life of Jesus. And so it's been really helpful in bringing this story to life for me, and so I want you guys to watch it. Now, as you're watching it, think about 3 things, and I'm going to have you discuss with some neighbors afterwards. So the first thing is, what do you notice about Jesus? What stands out to you about Jesus? Number 2, if you were the man who is healed, what kind of emotions would you be experiencing? What would you feel? What would it be like for you? And then 3, if you were the friends of Jesus who are watching this, what conclusions would you come to? And I'll show those questions at the end to just enjoy watching, but kind of be thinking, yeah, what would I be experiencing in those roles?
Come on.
Stay back. Cover your mouth. Don't breathe in air. Come any closer. It's okay. Rabbi, this is Caesar.
Please. Please. Please don't turn away from me.
I won't.
Lord, if you are willing, if you can make me clean, only if you want to, I submit to you. My sister, she was certain that the wedding was if you told me what you can do. I know you can heal me if you are willing. What can I ever do?
Don't say anything to anyone.
You don't think you're alone?
Please just do this one thing.
But what would that be?
Go. Show yourself to the priest. Let them inspect you and see that you are cleansed. Make the proper offering in the temple as Moses commanded. Go on your way.
What's an extra tunic?
Just one of you, just one of you. That's enough.
Green is definitely your color. Not too shabby.
So, what I want you to do now is, that makes me cry almost every time. I watched it with Bryce and Brad last week, and again, got all teary. But what I want you to do now is turn to someone around you, maybe the people that you just found things that you have in common, and share. What are the things that you noticed about Jesus in this? What do you think you would have been experiencing if you were the man who had leprosy, who was not allowed to be touched by anyone, who would have to shout unclean and everyone would run away, who hadn't seen his family or been near people in a long time? What would you have been experiencing in those moments? And then finally, if you were Jesus' friends, what conclusions would you come to after watching that? So we have about like 5 to 7 minutes, and then I'll bring us back together. Bring it back in, bring it back in. I hope you had some great conversations to begin there. I wish I could hear all the things that you're talking about, the observations that you made, the thoughts that you had that stood out to you. Unfortunately, in this room, it just is hard to shout. So instead, you only get to hear my observations. So here we go. First, I want to read to you this. So that story, or that what we just saw, comes directly from the book of Mark. And so in Mark 1, it says this: a man with leprosy came to him and begged him on his knees, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." Filled with compassion, Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said, "be clean." Immediately the leprosy left him and he was cured. I don't know how much you guys know about leprosy, but it's a really painful disease. Her skin had all these sores, and it was isolating. It was totally destructive to everything. You couldn't work, you couldn't be near people, you couldn't go to the temple, you couldn't worship, and there was no known cure at the time. And so it was isolating and suffering and honestly a life of despair. There was not a lot of hope. So when I think about the Jesus in this, seeing a man who everyone else would run away from, who would say, I mean, you saw how his friends were like, don't breathe that air, don't go near him. Like, they were terrified that Jesus was moving toward him. But what we see in Jesus in this moment, two huge things stand out to me. One, his compassion. He sees someone who's suffering. He sees someone who there's nothing that man can do to heal himself. And Jesus, instead of shying away from that, instead of saying, you are dirty, you are too much, Jesus moves in. He touches the one that nobody else is willing to touch. He moves toward him. And I love that it says in the text, filled with compassion. So we know that was his motivation. He was filled with compassion. He wanted the man to experience life. But what I love about him, and what is so amazing to me, is that he's not just compassionate. Many of us in this room might describe ourselves as compassionate. We would see someone suffering and we would want to do something about it. I was talking to one of my dearest friends last night on the phone. She's having a really hard time. And everything in me is like, I will jump on a plane and come out to be near you. I don't care if it's risky for me, like I just want to be near you. I understand compassion. I understand that sometimes it can lead to behavior of moving toward people. And so I love that Jesus shows this in a radical way here. But I also am like, yeah, people are compassionate. But the thing that separates Jesus from us is his compassion is also accompanied by his power. So Jesus not only is willing to move in, he has what the man needs. The man is completely incapable of healing himself, but Jesus comes and says, I am willing. And he touches him, and immediately he is healed. Immediately, he's cured in a way that he could have never done and nobody else around him could have done. And so Jesus, he is compassionate and he has the power to provide what this man needs. And so the man's life in that moment is restored. I love that Jesus tells him to go to the temple, and that's in the text as well, to go and talk to the priest and to show how he was cured, that the leprosy was gone. Because Jesus cared about that man being restored emotionally, physically, and socially. He was all about the life of this man and him experiencing a fully restored life. Jesus had the power to do that, and he was compassionate. And then I love his friends. You know, at first they're like, no, don't do that. That's bad. But then they're watching. And if you're familiar with the stories of Jesus, you know that these friends, or as they're often called, the disciples, they have seen Jesus do some cool things before. They saw him turn water into wine. You know, there's like some cool things that they've gotten to see him do. But there's something in this moment that's so neat to watch and to think about how they would be watching this and see, this is a man unlike any other. We've seen him do cool things, but now, oh my gosh, I have to keep following him. Like, I have to see what he's going to do next. Like, I am willing to lose and leave everything behind because there is something about him that not only is he incredibly powerful and able to do things that I can't even imagine, but he's so kind. And so these friends of his are just willing to leave behind so much. And the cost of following Jesus, the cost of being near him, it's like nothing. Because they're so excited to see who is this man and what is he going to do next. And then the man. Think about him and how it all begins with him approaching Jesus, calling out and saying, if you are willing, you can make me clean. And so this man recognizes something about Jesus that not everyone does, that Jesus has the power to heal. He comes to Jesus in faith and he says, if you are willing, you can do this. You have what I need to experience life. And so he comes to Jesus in faith. And that faith, he gets to experience some really cool things from that. His life is restored. Well, as I've thought about this story, and I've thought about us in this room, and me in particular, I don't have a skin-wasting disease. I have not experienced the coronavirus yet. I have not suffered in this form of isolation and separation from people. I've still been able to engage emotionally and physically, and even though it sucks to wear masks and not be able to be in presence and have 3 seats between us, we honestly haven't experienced this level of separation in what we normally think about in our day-to-day lives. But the reality is, I think that we have experienced a much greater separation that sometimes we choose to be unaware of, or sometimes we just don't even think of. See, we have a disease, and I mentioned this last week, we all have a brokenness in us. Sin is in us. It is a disease that is tearing us apart and destroying us from the inside out. It leads to brokenness in relationships and in our thoughts and in our world around us. It is the disease that affects everything that we do. It affects every motivation and every interaction. Sin is the thing that is causing the brokenness in the world around us. And so sin not only separates us from close relationships with people, and it impacts our ability to have really an understanding of being loved and known, and it influences everything, even greater than how it influences us in our relationships here. It has caused a very real and lasting separation from God. See, God is perfect. He's like the sterile environment that no disease can go near. And our sin, just by nature of having it in us, it separates us from God. We cannot go near him when we have this disease. We are kept at a distance. And so one sentence that explains this is in the book of Colossians. That's just a little bit later after the stories of Jesus' life. It says this: once you're alienated from God, or enemies in your minds because of your evil behavior. Because that you're alienated from God. You're separated, you're held at a distance. That is our reality because of the disease that is in us. But just as Jesus, that man with leprosy, just as he moved toward him in compassion and power, thank goodness, this is not the end of the sentence. This is not the end of the paragraph. This is not the end of the story. It goes on to say this: but now, he has reconciled, so God has reconciled you by Christ's physical body through death to present you holy in his sight, without blemish and free from accusation. See, Jesus, he did what we could not do. We try to clean ourselves all the time. We try to make ourselves good enough that we could go into his presence. Or we try to pretend like it's not actually separating us from this good and perfect God. But he knows that it is in a way that we can do nothing about. And so he took on our disease. There's another part in the Bible that says God made him, Jesus, who had no sin, to be sin for us. He became the very embodiment of the disease that is killing us and separating us from him. And it says in this verse that he put it to death so that we could be holy, so we could be perfect in his sight, so we could be disease-free before him, without blemish. There's no more of those sores on our arms. We are without blemish and free from accusation, because now we can be hidden in him. We have his life instead of ours. He is disease-free. There was no sin in his life. Everything he did was perfect. And he said, I am willing in my compassion to come to you. He left his perfect heaven where there was no sin. He chose to leave that to come to earth, to live with us, to touch us when we're dirty and gross, when we only have evil thoughts and have no good in us. He chose to leave that, to come to us in his compassion. But he's also powerful. And so he took on all of the consequences of our sin. Everything about it, he took on, and he died the death that we deserve on the cross. But because of his power, because of his perfectness, his righteousness, as the Bible calls it, he rose to life after 3 days. And he loves us so much, and he desires for us to have this restored life so much that he offers his own life to us. He says, we'll make this great exchange. You get my sinless life, you get my disease-free life. I took on all of yours. That's the King of the Kingdom that Brad talked about last week. One who comes in kindness and compassion. One who comes in power and might. And so as we wrap up here, I want you to think about 3 questions. 1, can you see yourself as the leper? Do you see that you are unable to clean yourself, that you cannot decontaminate yourself enough to go into the sterile environment of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, God Almighty, who is perfect? Do you see that? Do you see that you have a disease you can't do anything about? If you do, then the next question is, do you believe that Jesus is powerful enough to clean you? Do you believe that he is powerful enough to eradicate the sin that is in your life? That he is willing to come in and to bring healing to those areas? And then, if you believe that Jesus has done that for you, how does your life reflect that transformation? One other thing that really I think about the man with leprosy is I imagine for the rest of his days, he always thought about that moment. That moment that someone, when nobody else would touch him, came in and stooped low and put his hand on him. That would be a moment that you would never forget. And that would be a person that you would want everyone to know. Your life would be filled with such gratitude because you would know in that moment everything changed. It was not because of anything that you did. It's not because you were worthy of it. It's not because you had anything to offer Jesus. But because Jesus came in and was willing to heal you for the rest of your days. If you were that man, you would want to talk about him. And you would want to invest in the community and care for those who are hurting. I just imagine you would be transformed. And so if you know Jesus and he has done, you have experienced that he's brought healing into your life, that he has touched you and healed you, if you believe that he has freed you from your sin, how does your life reflect that transformation? And so I'm going to have Kelly play a song here, and it's got a couple, maybe about 5 minutes to think about those questions. And think about what does my life look like? What do I believe about Jesus? What do I believe about myself? And how does my life reflect those beliefs?
Over you. Sinners come before sufferers rise with holiness. All is well. Mercies are new this day. Burdens are met with grace. Oh Lord, how majestic is your name in all. Oh Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. and all broken, all thankless and all poor, all peaceful and all violent, all fearless, all afraid, all angry, all rejoicing, all doubting, all assured, all joyful and all mourning. Come gaze upon His glory. Come receive His love and mercy. His grace declares His glory. You will love forever holy. Oh Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Oh Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
I don't know if you heard it in the song, but there's a line that says, "You are loved, forever holy." And as I was thinking about tonight and I was praying for it, that was something that just kept coming to mind. That what He would want you to know tonight, you are loved. Perfectly, forever. Whether you're angry, lonely, feeling friendless, whether you're having a great week or you are just filled with bitterness, whether you're anxious and fearful, whether you are just wanting nothing to do with Him or you're really excited about Him, you are loved. And there is nothing that separates you from His desire to know you, to be in relationship with you, to heal you. He loves you. He desires to know you. I've been walking with Him for more than 20 years. He is worthy to be known. He has transformed my life. And He has brought joy in the midst of hard circumstances and hope when it feels like things are hopeless. And He has proven it by His willingness to come to us, though we have nothing to offer Him, to bring healing and redemption, to take on all of our joy, to die the death that we deserve. It's because of His love for us. And He loves you. So let me pray. Get going. Jesus, I'm amazed how you love us. Lord, that you are willing to move towards us when we are just covered in our own filth, when we have nothing to offer, when we have on our worst days. You love us. And Lord, that there is nothing that we can do to make you love us more, and there is nothing that we can do that would make you love us less. So Lord, I pray for my friends in this room that you would just make that known in a new way today. Lord, that you would implant in their hearts and their minds this reality that they are loved, and that they would know your compassion and your kindness. Lord, that they would know your power and your strength. That they would know how you've proven your love to us by your death on the cross, and you've proven that you can do all things by how you rose from the dead. Lord Jesus, would you teach us more about yourself? Would you give us hearts to know you and to love you? We love you and we want to love you more. It's in your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen. If you are curious, if you're in this room and you don't know much about Jesus, but you're curious, we would love to talk to you about that. And so feel free to find me or a lot of different people in the room, and we would just love to help you know him. It's a worthy endeavor.
That's really good stuff to think about. We are going to take a hard transition to announcing our Amazon giveaway winner. So, I would like to invite Bryce and Kyle back up. They are going to do the honor.
We're about to have a little fun. So how this is going to work, everyone that entered themselves into this Amazon giveaway that we have on a spreadsheet, everybody's got a number. We're going to ask Siri for a random number, and then hopefully it's one of you guys. But if it's not, we're going to call this person, and if they don't pick up, that's not our fault.
Hey Siri, tell me a number between 1 and 259.
A random number between 1 and 259 is 150.
We have Aria Williams.
They are. What's that phone number, Bryce?
36.
Kalani Wood? Kalani Wood? All right, another phone call. They are a student. Next one. We said that we were going to do this a maximum of 4 times, and if the 4th person doesn't answer, we're going to give it to them. So we're going to do 2 more. Maybe 5. We'll see. Hey Siri, what's a number between 1 and 259?
A random number between 1 and 259 is 143.
Zach Feynman? Bummer. Alright. Another. Oh, wait, it might not be a Penn State student. Maybe just check the last name. Yeah, just check the last name. They are. Okay, cool. Some of the lands that are found here. They must not like my Tennessee number. All right, here we go again. Hey Siri, what's the number between 1 and 259?
Between 1 and 259 is 196.
Sophie Troy. Nice. Thanks, man. Thanks for sticking with us. Hi, Sophie. Is this Sophie? Hey, this is Kyle Jacobs with the Navigators. You were selected as the winner of the Amazon survey. Yeah. You're actually on speakerphone right now with all the people in the Navigators at Nav Night. So yeah, we'll be getting you the $200 Amazon gift card here in the by tonight tomorrow. We'll probably send it to you over email because that's how we're gonna do it, just like an email of it. Is that cool?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. All right, fine. You too. Sophie. Thanks, guys. I don't know who's next.
So, since we have now ended the Amazon gift card giveaway survey, we're now doing a Chipotle giveaway, like Tori said earlier. So, I guess moving forward, if we have new students, sign up for that. You'll be eligible, but if you signed up for the Amazon one in the past, they will be checking. Unfortunately, you are not eligible for the new ones.
Yeah, just another reminder to get plugged into a 1010 team if you haven't yet. You can pretty much talk to any person on staff or most people around you to get plugged in.
And my reading plans, we have the next few days on there, but also we have paper copies in the back, and they're on social media, emails, that stuff too.
Yeah, and then final reminder, text Kelly to get involved in a group meet and get the nav notes or either or. Yeah, and then that pretty much wraps us up, but Brad's gonna come up and share a final announcement.
Almost fell over. Great to see you guys. Thanks for coming out to Nav Night. Just one quick thing. You may or may not know that religious organizations are some of the only organizations allowed to meet in person on campus right now. You probably know that. And so we want to do everything in our power to keep being able to meet, and for the Navigators, and kind of stewarding it too for all the other religious organizations of many different faiths that use this building, especially for meetings throughout the week. And so you guys have done a great job following all the guidelines, distancing, masking, doing the temperature check. But one thing we just had to ask for some clarification after our meeting last week is just, what does it look like after Nav Night? It can't quite look like what it usually did in the past, but we did get permission for people to stay for like 15 minutes or so after Nav Night. And as long as people are continuing to distance 6 feet, keep the masks on, you're welcome to stick around and chat to friends, meet somebody new for about 15 minutes. And so, one thing is just the center aisle here kind of tends to jam people together. So just be mindful wherever you go in the room to keep the 6 foot distance from other people. And then, yes, once you do leave, if you could just, if you're talking to people, instead of congregating in the lobby, in the entranceway, just go outside. I checked a little bit ago, it's not raining, it's not supposed to rain. It's a really nice night. So if you want to talk to people after you leave this room in about 15 minutes, just take the conversations outside tonight. So that will help us steward the opportunity we have to meet in person, and for ourselves and for other organizations too. So anyways, thank you so much for coming out. I hope you guys have a great night, a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next week at the same time.